It's more than music, reporting live with Shehxna. Let's do it. So we are back, and it's your boy DJ Hollywood in the building for another dope interview with another dope upcoming independent artist. Today we are tapping in with the young legend, and I'm talking the accent for a reason. I've been practicing. But today we have Shehxna. I said it right?
Yeah.
We have Shehxna in the building.
Let's go.
Crowd goes wild. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am good. Happy New Year.
And you?
This is my first interview of 2022.
It's really, I'm honored to be your first.
Yeah. So we'll hop right into the interview. So who is Shehxna? I know it's a very deep question to answer, but who, as you can explain it in your point of life, how do you explain who is Shehxna? It could be in depth or it could be as simple as possible.
I would say Shehxna is just my story, really, like where I came from, like how I'm kind of here, and the music. Like music is a big part of me, so I'll definitely say music.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I said
That's like long story short.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. So you said your hair. So hair from where? Let the people know.
Right. So I'm originally from London. I'm ethnically from Sri Lanka, but I've been like born and raised in London, and then moved here in August for my music. So yeah, that's kind of been about like everywhere. But
okay. So, so you came up from London.
Yeah.
And what made you make that commitment to come from London to the U.S.? Because that's a big jump.
Right. So since like I was 10, I've always wanted to like live in America, especially for my music. I've just had that dream. Like I've always thought that I would be kind of here. Like this was the place for me. And then it kind of already started with Dio, so the producer that I've been working with. He's amazing. I had messaged him, reached out to him because I was writing my covers back at him, and I'll be sitting in the car or like in the bathroom recording my covers posted on Instagram, but I wasn't really sure on like how to make my music kind of go to like the next level, right?
Yeah.
And like reach the right people. So I messaged like Theo and I said like I really like your music. I would love to like work with you. And I thought it was just gonna be a thing where he emailed me some beats and I'll be working from home. But then he was like, we really want like a few more artists on the team. So then that started at like that conversation was during like COVID, like when it first started. So then we was in contact from that point onwards, but then obviously we couldn't travel or anything.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, like I kind of need to make this work. So then I applied for colleges, and then it was from there really. So the move was basically based on that one conversation of like we're really trying to work for.
So you go to school out here too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What school do you go to?
So I go to Trinity College.
Trinity College. Nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
What do you study there?
So I'm an undecided major just because I know I want to do music as a career, but I want to have like an education too.
She was like, listen, I'm going for school, but realistically, like I want to be famous and like be out of here.
Well, yeah. So then, I'm kind of that's what I kind of like about the schools here though, because in London, if you want to study, you have to like know what you want to pursue as a career right when you're going into university.
Right.
Whereas here, like you get to like pick anything and kind of decide from there.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of looking to law or business. So,
okay. So now, how long have you been doing music? How long you been singing?
I've been singing since I was like 3 or 4. Like the first thing that comes to mind when you ask me that is me like stood on a chair when I was like a baby, like singing in my uncle's like living room. So like since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then since then just till now. Yeah.
So did your were your like parents or like any of your relatives did they invest into your career or anything or?
They have definitely been supportive. It was just more like so like back at home I auditioned for like competitions and stuff like that. But I really wanted to kind of like start it off like myself, if that made sense. So like they've always been supporting anything I wanted to do. So like even like leaving London and coming here because I came on my own. So like I had to like leave my family and friends behind type of thing just for like, and it was kind of a gamble really because it's like I have 4 years to kind of try and make something of it. So they've definitely been supportive. With,
you could blow up in 4 years.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, who would you say is the first person to believe in you though? Who do you feel like was the first person to say Shehxna, right? Shehxna.
Yeah.
Who was the first person to say Shehxna? Like you got something and keep on singing. Who do you feel like that person was for you?
That's a good question. I would, right, I would probably say my parents, just because and my brother too, like my family really, because I was always singing, so like, and I always loved to sing. Like I never thought I would kind of end up where I am now. So I think they clearly kind of supported me and like helped me and like encouraged me in a way that helped me kind of realize that okay, I think I have something with that. And I would also definitely say like the team here, like DOP, Gabi, like all of them, like kind of investing in me and like saying like we see something in you, and then because it was their kind of like vision and like hope in me that made me like feel like okay, I can like make that like trip and I can do it type of thing.
So any of your parents are musically inclined, or your relatives, your brother or anything, or no?
I can't lie, I'm still trying to. I mean, my parents love to listen to music, but like it's just completely different to what I would listen to. But like whenever they can, we'd always be putting on the radio and stuff like that. But no one like specifically musical that I know of. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Right. Yeah. You're the what do they call it? The black sheep of the family.
Probably. Probably.
Trust me, there's nobody else in my family is a DJ, into media, none of that stuff. So I definitely understand that. So for Shehxna, right? It's a unique name, so I gotta say it right. So for Shehxna, what comes first? Is it the beat or the lyrics?
The beat.
Okay.
It's definitely the beat. I feel like I really need to. The instrumental needs to like hit me for me to be like, right, this is what I'm gonna like sing on it or spit on it, like the music part of it. Because I used to like play piano. I still play the piano and like the drums. So I was so used to like just playing around with the melodies and stuff like that. Yeah. So before any of that, like I'm just kind of hearing the notes and stuff. So
is that your favorite instrument? Is it the piano?
I would say it's between the piano and the drums.
Piano and drums. It's the drums. Yeah. It's the drums for me.
Drums for you, right? Sure. Yeah, no, like I love a beat on a song.
Yeah.
So I definitely love the drums too. Yeah.
So now speaking of beats,
right?
You talked about it earlier. My guy DOC, the Doctor of Creativity. Make sure you tackle him. Man. So how is it working with a platinum producer? Because we could call him that now.
Right.
You know. So
definitely. I mean, I went to his house to like make a song yesterday. Literally, we was working from his house. And I walk in, and when I was like speaking to him when I was at home, I was so used to seeing his house like on Instagram Live. So being there in person, it was crazy. And I looked up on his wall and I saw the billboard like thing stuck on the wall, and I was like, wow, it's crazy. It's honestly like it's such an honor, and he is so inspiring when I be speaking to him as well, like his experiences and just making music with him and watching him like make it. It's a movie. I go in there and I say to him like, this really feels like a movie. So
you're the star. So who is, or the main character? That's what I'm saying. But who is, or so for like Doc, right? Does he say Shehxna? We're working on it. So does he say, hey, this is a beat for you, or do you come to him like, hey, I have this melody, and can you turn it into a beat?
When we first started off, so like when I was black in London, we was trying to do like Zoom things so that I could kind of lead it and give him ideas. But there was a point where he was just kind of sending me beats, which is really cool to do because it kind of let me work with things that I wouldn't normally do. Because it was
like out your comfort zone.
Exactly, and I think that really helped me grow. So like the first time I went to the studio was in the Bronx, and he was just giving me the beats, and I was just kind of like rolling with that. But then, and because that was the first time I'd also like met him, so we were also like figuring out each other's vibes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then after, like more recently, we've been doing a thing where like I kind of go there and I have a list of ideas. And I'm like, okay, I want to like use this sound and like make it into a song. So recently we like sampled a song that was like I don't even know what like genre was, like kind of like choir-y gospel, and we turned it into like a drill song. So like it's crazy, it's so insane. So but we kind of be working with each other. Like sometimes he'll have an idea or I'll have an idea, and I'll be like, oh, like I kind of want to switch it up this way. So yeah.
So speaking of, they brought you off UK right into the trenches of New York City, and you came from UK right into JFK, which is one of the biggest airports in New York.
Very crazy.
And you went from JFK, and then I watched the vlog series that you have on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then you went right into basically now you're in the studio, in the Bronx. I don't know if you know the story of the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn. Respectfully, but we're not it is what it is with the Bronx. But so what was that even, what was the trend? Did you go to studios in the UK as well?
I mean, I have been in and out of a couple, but it wasn't it wasn't to do anything like I'm doing now. It was more just to kind of like figure out me as an artist and just kind of get the experience. But
Find
also
your sound.
right, exactly. But before that, it was kind of like one of the first times I'd actually probably been into the studio, because before COVID came at the time, I started like properly getting into writing my music and posting it like consistently.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get into a studio when I kind of like needed it the most. But I guess it worked out.
So what were like some big transitions from you, even outside of music? What were some big transitions from the UK coming to the US?
Transitions as in like differences or like
Yeah, like things that you had to get adjusted to.
oh, okay. I had to get adjusted to people not understanding what I'm saying.
For sure.
I'd be going to school and I'm like, oh, can I have a water bottle, like a water? And they're looking at me for like a solid minute, like, what are you talking about?
Water bottle? Like, what?
Right. But I think just kind of fitting in, because at my college I'm like the only like person from like London, so it's definitely like, I don't know, it's just kind of fitting in basically, and the rest of it's just like the culture, I'll probably say.
Yeah.
But I love it here, like.
Do you say in your vocabulary, is in it in your vocabulary?
That's the first thing that people would say to me when they met me, like, oh, in it. But yeah, definitely. Depending on the area that you come from, but
yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I met a couple of London people on Clubhouse.
Right.
And,
okay.
And I just called on to
yeah.
like in it, and I'm like in it.
yeah, no, it's definitely common.
Yeah. So now talk some more about the YouTube series. So whose idea was that, and who films it? Where did that idea come from for the YouTube series?
So it was my idea. I mean, and it kind of just came off like me being inspired by everything that was going on. Like every single time I go into the studio, I like, even if I'm not doing anything, I'll be watching everyone else, and I'm like, I'll be sat there like, wow, like 2 seconds ago before I came in here, like Millie was playing his music to me, and I'm just sat there and I'm like it's crazy, like, because you get inspired from other people's music, and it's just like, it feels like a blessing to be able to like be in that space. So like after seeing that, I've genuinely like sat there, I was like, it really feels like a movie. So I'm like, I want to make a movie, like I want
you
people
gotta record this,
yeah, like I want people to be able to like experience that same feeling, and like if there's like other aspiring like musicians, just to be able to like be inspired to make that jump, because I had the opportunity to like be inspired. So it was mainly that, and I just definitely wanted to like kind of record it and then be able to look back on it. So yeah. So
this is a side question. So if there were to be a movie about Shehxna, who do you feel like would play you in a movie? What celebrity you feel like would play you?
What celebrity would play me? I would say like a mixture of a few. I wouldn't. That's gonna take me a sec. That's like the last thing I could think.
Is that a tough one?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I would say a mixture of a few. It would definitely be like people from London, like artists from London, combined with people over here too.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So now, you did. I seen on your YouTube. I did my research, and you do a lot of covers.
Yeah.
You have you dropped any music on all platforms yet or no?
None of my original music, but my covers be on Instagram and YouTube. But that's what we kind of worked towards, like releasing the EP. But covers was the first thing that I was in. Like, I'll definitely have like a big like love for covers itself, because I think that's what kind of got me to here really. Like I released my first cover and I'd like written over it, like changed the lyrics. And that's what I sent to Dio, and then he was like, yeah, like, we'd love to work with you.
He was like, this is it. So to name a couple covers that she has out that you guys should check, you did All the Stars, you did a couple Billie Eilish songs, I love Billie Eilish, and you did Georgia Smith.
Yeah, love Georgia Smith. I would probably say Georgia Smith as the celebrity that was...
The celebrity?
Right.
Okay.
Definitely.
I love her song, On My Mind. I play that like every chance I get. That is my jam. So now, when you performed All the Stars at, was it your college?
Yeah, it was. It was my first performance there.
And how was that experience? Were you nervous or?
It was crazy. I wasn't nervous. That's the thing, and I think I got used to performing now, because when I was back in London, I would start like I'll be busking, so I'd like
I
go
was
to
gonna,
central
go
London.
into busking. So
Right.
explain to people what busking is.
Right. So busking.
I gotta put the definition at the bottom.
So busking is like kind of when you go to like the streets or like the roads or whatever really, and I'll go to central London and I'd have like my speaker, connect up the microphone, connect like the aux to my phone, and just sing like outside really.
Yeah. So basically performing outside.
Performing outside. Yeah.
Live performance outside.
Exactly.
So in New York City, you could just kind of do it anywhere and
Yeah.
kind of not get in trouble. But in UK, don't you need do you need like a license? That's what I've heard before.
You do need a permit, but it depends on like the area that you're in. But there is areas in central London where you don't. So like that's like Leicester Square, for example.
Yeah.
There's like 3 spots that you can kind of stand there and you're fine. But it's kind of tricky because they always like people are always kind of there, so you have to like go at the right time.
Right. And did you ever heard of Tones and I? You ever heard her backstory before? How she was busking and singing Dance Monkey and stuff like that as well?
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool because you know a lot of people can get discovered that way, and you also never know who's walking by on the street.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, DJ Hollywood might walk by and see you busking, and you might be doing an interview with him one day. You never know.
No, literally.
So now, do you have any pre-stage rituals? Do you like say a prayer? You know, drink some apple juice or something, or
pre-stage rituals? I would definitely say drink some water, but I would at that point I'm kind of saying thank you. Like I definitely say a prayer, and I'm kind of like grateful to like be able to perform and just kind of get myself in the zone. Really,
yeah,
it's kind of a freestyle. Like you never know what's gonna happen when you're on the stage.
you never know.
You just go out there, do the best, and see
Yeah,
what
you could almost slip right before you start
exactly.
recording and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So you said earlier that you play piano and drums. What are some other instruments that you would be interested in learning how to play if given the opportunity?
Guitar, for sure.
Guitar?
Guitar.
Okay.
I've been saying.
Would you do electric or acoustic?
Acoustic.
I could see you doing
acoustic.
acoustic.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Definitely acoustic. I'd probably start doing that this year. I'll put that on the bucket list for 2023.
I mean, you could play. I heard piano kind of goes hand in hand with
for sure.
guitar.
Yeah, it would. And I feel like because I mainly sing like R&B things, I think it's like the perfect combo. Add some drums in.
Yeah, for sure. And your prices go up if you play an instrument yourself. You ain't got to book nobody to do it. You like.
Yeah.
So now, new single dropping February 3rd. Let's talk about it. So let's hear some details on it.
Well, yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we're still working, like, I'm in the studio till, like, the 31st, basically, so I have this month, like, off school, so I'm just planning on kind of working back to back, getting as many, like, singles done, and then kind of picking which one I think I have my mindset on which one it is. So, yeah, I'm excited, definitely excited, because I've been waiting to kind of drop my music.
Release, yeah.
I feel like this year, like, I have like a good feeling about this, yeah.
Good. You should. You gotta manifest and keep the positivity going.
For sure.
So, do you have a name for the EP? Can we get the exclusive name for the EP or
EP name? I mean, I'll probably keep that on the download till closer to the time.
Fair enough.
It would definitely information about it would definitely be released soon. So
fair enough.
tuned.
So let the people know before we even go any further. Let the people know where they can tap in with your Instagram and also your YouTube as well to see more content about you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so all my social media platforms are the same name. So it's Shehxna. I'm gonna have to spell this out.
Go
right?
ahead. Yep. You have
So
to. I'm gonna roll it at the bottom. Too,
okay. So it's my name, but an X on the first A. So SHEHXNA, and it's just on all platforms, same thing.
So who came up with that creative idea and throwing the X in there?
Creative idea was just by chance because every platform had my name taken. Like someone already had the name, so I was like, let me throw in that X real quick.
I literally went on YouTube and I was like, what is? I was like, and I typed into your real, because P sent me your real name and I was like, let me type it in. Then I'm like, then I typed in cover next to it. And I'm like,
it's just not me.
Then I'm like, this is not her. And then I went to your Instagram and then I was like, oh, okay, all right, let me try to search this. Well, I think the link was in your bio for YouTube.
Yeah, maybe. I made sure because I think it's definitely a struggle, like not having like my actual name because people kind of have to assume what my social media name is. But that's why I tried to keep it the same.
Yeah, on all platforms. That's smart. Yeah. So, how do you balance out this new, having to worry about school and then music? How do you plan on, finding that balance in between?
I mean, I've done it for my whole like life kind of thing. I mean, even like when I was back in London, I went to a grammar school, which was like really like a lot of work basically. So like I kind of had to balance like getting like good grades and like doing my work with doing enough music so that I could like kind of find opportunities. Like before I'd like obviously spoken to the US, like still making content and stuff like that. So I feel like I've had like practice in doing it in that sense, but it kind of just comes to me because I like to be productive. So like if I'm not doing schoolwork, then I'm doing music, or like if I'm not doing music, then I'm doing schoolwork. So like it's always something to work towards basically.
Right.
So yeah, I mean there's 24 hours in a day, so it's just kind of like how I make time with 24.
I need 28 hours. This is crazy.
Right. Sometimes it'd be tough.
Nah, facts. So, what are some learning lessons that you've gone through, even before you came to the UK, or before you came from the UK, or before, or after you came? What are some learning lessons you've learned as an artist that a younger artist might look at this interview and be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's gonna sound corny like as it is, but I genuinely believe this. It's like if you feel like you have a passion or like a talent, go for it. Literally go for it. I mean, I used to sit there and I'm like, okay, like I've been doing this for like 16, 17, like I've been singing for like however long, and I felt like I was kind of doing it without like realizing where it's going. But like when they say like hard work like always pays off.
Correct.
Like this is like an example of it. You know what I mean? Like it's like if I made those covers not thinking anything like of it. Like it's just like okay, like I know I'm making like some sort of music, so like you never kind of know, but it's like you don't know who's gonna watch the videos type of thing.
Correct.
So it's just believing in yourself and pushing it. Another thing I'll probably say is like kind of speaking up, like when you kind of need to, because that's one thing I've definitely like learned, because you kind of, especially like I feel like being in the industry, like even when you're in the studio or something, just being able to be like, I want it like this, or I need it like that type of thing, like just kind of standing your ground basically.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and definitely as a woman, it's easy, in a male dominated industry, it's easy to, for people to overtalk you and kind of, I guess abuse of power or whatever type of stuff. Yeah, so I definitely get that. Yeah. So now my last couple questions. So I call this the 3 feet, right? So the reason why I call it the 3 feet, you're coming out with the EP, yes, but let's do a hypothetical, right?
Hypothetical.
So say you're coming out with EP tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. And there's 3 features that could be on this EP, right? But I'm gonna give you the guidelines for each track off the three track EP, all right?
Okay.
So for the first one, an artist that is not here anymore, an artist that passed away that you think you would make a super dope track with.
X.
Ooh, DMX?
X.
Oh, XX Tenacion. All right, see. You said X. Rest in peace to all the X's, DMX, XXX Tenacion. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a really, really good one. So number 2, Dead or Alive, but like old school. So like 90s and back. Who you think? Dead or Alive. So the person could still be out now, but they came out back in the days.
I would probably say, this is kind of different genre, but I would say Luther Vandross.
Okay, no, there's nothing wrong with, shout out to Luther.
Yeah.
And last but not least, who's an artist today that's hot right now that you think you would sound fire with? Let's manifest, because you never know, this might happen.
I would say Lil TJ.
Lil TJ? Okay, I can hear that. Lil TJ, you heard that? We're gonna put this on Instagram. We're gonna tag everybody. Make sure everybody tag Lil TJ, all right?
Yeah.
So that's a fire EP. I'd cop it. So you know how people would say like, oh man, it's just music. Like turn it down, or like you don't need to listen to music every day.
Right.
Okay. So why do you feel like it's more than just music?
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you. Right, it's a good question. I would say it's more than music because it's not just a sound, it's a feeling. You know what I mean? Right. Literally, it's just a feeling. I feel like I think people kind of hear it just for the sound more than kind of sitting back and deep in like how it makes them feel. I think that's why I'm like so in love with music really, because I listen to like all these artists and it's like it's kind of the power of it to make you feel like certain
Correct.
emotions, and like a song to be able to like make you cry or like be like, okay, I want to get up and dance. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like people don't really deep that. It's like it's all coming from a sound, which is evoking that feeling. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just kind of powering that feeling.
Good answer. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. Well, listen. I will stay tuned. We've been tapped in for a while via Instagram, and super dope to that you came to these ends, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to doing that part 2 interview where you made it and you hit the next level.
Fingers
and
crossed.
let the people know where they could follow you on Instagram and everything else.
Yeah. So as I said, Shehxna on Instagram, YouTube. I'll be releasing my EP in February, so stay in tune for that. But yeah, that's it.
Is there any shout outs or anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Definitely shout out to the team, Dio, Millie, P, Garby, like just everyone that's like in here with me in the studio, picking me up from school. They be picking me up from college, bringing me here and back and forth. Like it's kind of crazy. It'd be crazy, and like a lot of like time and effort's been put in, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity. So definitely shout out to everyone that made this happen. So yeah.
Facts, man. You already know, man.
And you, of course, for being here and doing this with me. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Listen, man, it is your boy DJ Hollywood. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, man. DJ HollyW, 8 and D. All right. And listen, make sure you subscribe, like, and all that, man. Share this to a friend, man. Go listen to her music. Go check out her covers on YouTube right now. All right. So we are out of here. It is your boy DJ Hollywood. You know the motto, man. It's more than music. Wow.
That was sick.
Good job. I got a rush master work.
Thank you so much for doing that with me. It was amazing.
Yeah, no problem.